I think the last I left off was we were in the kitchen. Her daughter-in-law was over and they got into it in the kitchen, remember? So Miss C went into the kitchen to make her lunch. You know, her daughter-in-law was like, she called her by her first name. She goes, Miss C, you know, but it was her first name. Can I help you with that? Can I make your lunch? She turned around and she goes, like I said, did I ask for your help? No, I don't want your help. You know, real snotty. So I'm sitting at the island, okay? And I'm just like, oh God. I felt it. I felt something was coming. Like they were going to get into it. The daughter-in-law walks over there anyway. And remember what I told you what she ate every day? A bologna sandwich or it was either a bologna sandwich or a turkey sandwich with a cup, like 2 or 3 chips and white chocolate macadamia nut cookie every day. So the daughter-in-law walks over there and she starts getting out. Because she was standing in front of the cupboard, Miss C was, and the daughter-in-law went behind her and went underneath the shelves because that's where she kept her cookies, was underneath the island kitchen shelves. You know, like the cupboards, whatever. The daughter-in-law started opening the cupboard to get out her cookies because she knew what she ate, you know? Miss C instantly knew what she was doing. Miss C turns around and she puts her hand on her hip. She goes, what are you doing? Her daughter-in-law grabs the cookies and she stands up and she goes, I'm just getting your cookies out for you. She snatched those cookies from her. I mean, snatched them with the ugliest look on her face, like just pure hate. She's like, I already told you, I don't need your help. And then she put the cookies back under the cupboard, slammed the cupboard, and then she turned around and she started like making her sandwich. I was sitting at the island, so I was like front and center, right, to everything. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, like, I wasn't gonna just sit there and just stare at them fighting, so I was like looking down. I didn't know what to do. So then the daughter-in-law, she comes around, she looks at me, and I could tell she was looking at me because I was just like this, but she looks right at me. She turns her head at me. So I knew she looked at me, but I was looking down, I was like, I'm not doing this. The daughter-in-law walks right past me and she sits in the chair next to me at the island. And Miss C starts making her lunch. And I look at her, the daughter-in-law, and she looks at me and I was like that. And she just like, you know, shook her head. So then, remember how I told you Miss C shakes really bad when she tries to put the knife in the mayonnaise? I guess because maybe like me and the daughter-in-law were sitting there at the island and we're just watching her, you know. What could we do? Well, I was looking down at the magazine. I quickly grabbed my magazine. I'm like, do. So she was really struggling to put the knife into, you know, shaking really bad. She kept going left to right, back and forth. She couldn't get the knife in the mayonnaise. No, the daughter-in-law goes, she stands up, she goes, all right, that's enough. I'm going to help you do this. I'm going to help you do that. I'm not even shitting you guys. She walks over to her. Yeah, you already know where this is going. She walks over to Miss C and she was, you know, like gonna get the knife from her. Miss C goes from doing this to doing this, and then she like waved the knife at her. She goes, go sit down. I don't want your help. And the knife was like this, you know, because she was shaking. She was so mad. And her daughter-in-law went like that. And finally I looked up and I said, Miss C. I stood up because, you know, hello. No, that's not okay. And then her daughter-in-law grabbed her wrist and then she pulled the knife out of her hand. I said, Miss C, you don't ever wave a knife at somebody like that. Ever. So I got up and then Miss C was like so enraged and so mad. Her daughter-in-law was like, how many times have I told you? You don't do this. This is extremely dangerous. I was put in the most awkward position. I was so uncomfortable, so embarrassed, mortified. So I go up behind Miss C and I grab her arms and I like, you know, try and put them down. And then the daughter-in-law takes a knife and she puts the knife in the sink. And then Miss C goes, get your hands off of me. She went like that to me. I said, okay, well, as long as you don't have a knife, I'm not going to come after you. And then she turns around to her daughter-in-law and her daughter-in-law goes, you know, calls her by her first name. This is unacceptable. And, you know, they were going like arguing back and forth. So Miss C gets in her face. I didn't want you here. I don't want you here. No one invited you here. You always just show up. And so do these people. And I'm sick of it. When have I ever needed help? I've always been independent. She was just going on. And I sat back down. Then the daughter-in-law, she raised her voice. She called her by her first name. Miss C, you need to go sit down right now. You are not in control here, and I've had it with you. You're not going to yell and scream at me like that, and you're not going to point a knife in my face. And then Miss C goes, you're not going to make me do anything. And she goes, spit. The biggest, nastiest spit wad right in her face. So then after she spits, I don't know I know this is disgusting, but you know, the L word, I don't know if it was that or if it was just regular spit because I couldn't see. Because the daughter-in-law's back was to me, Miss C was, you know, facing me. So I didn't actually see how big it was or what kind it was. I heard it. And then her daughter-in-law goes, "She did it!" And then she went and got the kitchen towel to wipe her face. And Miss C goes, "You're not using my kitchen towel for your nasty face." You guys, I was just like, oh my God, should I leave? I was debating, like, should I leave? What the hell should I do? So she jerks the kitchen towel from her, Miss C does. The daughter-in-law jerks it back from her, and she says, don't, or we're gonna have serious problems. And Miss C stepped back. She took one step back, and she was just... that woman could give the worst, most hideous, ugliest, nastiest looks in the world. I've never seen it before, but yeah, she did. And so she used her towel anyways. You know that pissed her off. But yeah, she just stood back and she didn't say a word after that. Then the daughter-in-law started wiping her face. The daughter-in-law started wiping her face with the towel, and she turns and looks at me. And I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And I looked at Miss C and I said, "Miss C, what is wrong with you? Why are you acting like this? That's your daughter-in-law." You know, I didn't want to sit there in silence. That would be even more rude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't just sit there, you know, because I was the caregiver and my shift wasn't over. But even though that's her daughter-in-law, I still felt obligated to say something. Miss C stood there and she was going like this, tapping her fingers on the counter with one hand on her hip, glaring at her daughter-in-law. When I said to her, Missy didn't look at me. She never even looked at me. Didn't give me the time of day. And so the daughter-in-law said, "Kristen, I'm sorry that you had to see this and witness this. I really am." She said, "But this is an everyday basis with her when I come over here." She's like, "That's why I'd rather have the caregivers over here because she's not like this to them, to you guys." She was talking to me like Miss C wasn't there, okay? So she's like, "That's why we hired you guys. That's why the family will no longer have anything to do with her. She's just evil. She's just mean. We try and go out of our way and it's never good enough. And she physically attacks us." And I was like looking at her, you know, while she was talking to me, but like at the corner of my eye, I was looking at Miss C because I was like, I felt she was gonna snap. I was like, oh my God. And I wanted to keep my wits about me because it was like, she's probably gonna stab me or something. Who knows? As the daughter-in-law is still like talking, you know, basically about what I was just saying, but she went on and on. Miss C goes, "Shut up!" Screamed it to where like her face got so red. And then she started charging her. Like she flew over the counter. And I stood up. She went to choke her with both hands. Miss C grabbed her daughter-in-law by the neck and she started to try to choke her. You know, but she was, come on, her daughter-in-law is stronger than her. Plus I was there. So as soon as she put her hands around her neck, the daughter-in-law threw her hands off. I went over there. The daughter-in-law was like, she started sobbing. Once she got her hands off of her neck, she started sobbing. You know, because there's only so much abuse you can take from someone you love, someone you're trying to take care of. And it's emotionally devastating. And so I went over there and I grabbed Miss C and I said, Miss C, oh my God, oh my God. She looked at me, she goes, "What?" I said, "Do you hear that?" I said, "It's the kittens. The cats are at the window." And she goes, "What?" I said, "Yes, come on. I can hear them. They're crying." And she goes, "What?" I said, "Come on." So I like put my arm around her back and I started walking her to the back room. Remember I told you the window with all the cats? So I led her there and I was like praying. I was like, "Lord Jesus, please let there be at least one cat. Please, please God, please Father, please. If there's not, I'm gonna make something up." Thank God there was 2 cats there, 2 of them. And they were at the window. And I said, "Look, they want you." And she goes, instantly started smiling really big. And she like, you know, pushed me off of her because I was leading her with my hand behind her back. And then she pushes me off and she's like, "Hi, kitty, kitty, kitty. Hi." And she gets, you know, her knees on her couch and, you know, she's tapping on the window. Remember how I told you, like, what's her name on Finding Nemo? That little girl at the dentist's office. "Hi, Fissy, Fissy, Fissy." That's what she was doing. "Hi, kitty, kitty, kitty." I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. And as soon as she did that, the 2 cats came right up to the window. So then I still heard the daughter-in-law. She was like, she was like that. She was crying so hard, you guys. It broke my heart. So I went in there and I hugged her. I said, it's okay. I got her under control. She's talking to the cats. She hugged me back and she said, "I'm so sorry." I said, "I'm sorry." So the daughter-in-law, you know, she stopped crying. Yeah, Miss C was still over there with them damn cats. So then the daughter-in-law says to me, she said, Kristen, I can't thank you enough. She goes, I'm gonna leave now, and I just can't be here anymore because she's not gonna stop. Because once she starts attacking the family, she will continue. She will come in here after she's done with the cats, and she will attack me again. If I say one word to her, or even if I look at her, she will attack me. And I'm thinking, don't leave. What is she gonna do to me? Like, seriously? I said, okay, yeah, I got it, you know? And she goes, if she touches you or gets physical with you, I want you to call me right away. And I will be right back over here, and I will handle it. She said, thank you. And, you know, she hugged me and she left. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, oh my God. I just stood there as I watched her walk out the door and leave. And I'm like, Mama. That's what I always said when I got freaked out in my head. I was like, Mama. And then I didn't hear her, you guys. It was complete silence. So I stood there for probably like, I don't know, 5 minutes. I was trying to hear something. I was trying to hear her talk to the cats or, you know, something. I didn't hear nothing. Oh my God, this is like finding Waldo. She's probably hiding somewhere and she's gonna shank me when I walk by. So I started tiptoeing, and I got chills up and down my body, and I'm just like looking like this, and I'm tiptoeing. And I swear to you, I was like this. Here's a I'm not lying. I know this is like a really elderly woman, but she had the devil inside her. So here's a corner of the wall, like from, you know, the kitchen to the room where she was at. And I was like this. I peeked around the wall like this with one eye at first. And I didn't see anything, so I went back and I went like this again. And I still didn't see her, like where I left her. So I went over a little more. And there she was standing. I'm not even kidding you. She was standing in front of that little lazy boy chair that was in front of the fireplace. Exactly about maybe a little further from me right now to the phone. I just got chills. This scared the shit out of me. I'm not kidding you guys. I promise you this is what happened. She was standing from the phone right now, by camera, whatever, to where I'm sitting that close. So when I didn't see her with one eye, but I finally went like that. I saw her. I said, what the fuck? I went like that. I backed up. I almost fell. Thank God I didn't, but I almost tripped. And I took like 4 steps back, and then she's just standing there. She's just glaring at me. She won't say a word. She's just standing there. I said, Miss C, why did you just... My heart was racing so bad. I immediately looked for her hands because I'm like, this bitch has a knife or something. Like, she's gonna... But she had one hand on her hip like she always does, and the other one was just like by her side. So I said, why would you scare me like that? And she goes, why are you in my house? I said... Oh, I started to get pissed at this point. I said, because I am paid to be here. This is my job. That's why. She walked right past me, and I was just like... She walked past me, and I'm like, oh, hell no. This bitch is gonna get that knife. I said, fuck that. So I immediately, like fast walked behind her. I didn't know what she was gonna do, so I said to myself, if she gets that knife, I immediately looked over at my book bag. That book bag was heavy. I was gonna run over there and swing it at her if she had that fucking knife in her hand. I swear I was. She went over there and started continuing making her lunch, and she started whistling or humming. I can't remember. No, humming. She started humming. I remember the song, but I can't remember it for nothing right now. I'm looking at her in awe. She just physically assaulted her daughter-in-law. She choked her. She came at her with a knife, screaming and yelling at her. And she goes to play with cats, and now she's making her lunch humming. Like, there's no care in the world. I sat down at the island for 2 seconds. As soon as I sat down, I said, oh, hell no, because the knife popped in my head. So I got up, grabbed my magazine, and I went to that little bench over there that I put my stuff down on. I was not going to be that close to her. Hell no. So I sat over there on the bench, and she was just humming this song. Yeah, and she was kind of like swaying, you know. I see skies are blue, red roses too. I am not singing this song right. You know that song? What the hell is it called? No, wait. No, I sing. No, it wasn't that. La 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 dee la 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 la. That's what she did when she did her little workouts. That guy with that little deep raspy voice, he really good singer. I see trees of green, skies are blue. That one. La la da dee da. That's the one that she would do. And she was like, working it out there doing her aerobics. So yeah, that's the song she was humming. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, get me out of this crazy house. I'm done. This was the first week, you guys. The first week. I was with her 4 months. So she makes her lunch. She didn't even look at me. She did not look at me for love nor money. I was looking at her though. Trust and believe that I was looking at her. Shit, crazy old bitch. You crazy asshole. You're a crazy asshole. So I was just watching her. Like, then she wouldn't even look up at me. She was done with her little teeny tiny sandwich, like 3 little chips and her white chocolate macadamia cookie. Then she goes out to the back and she goes and sits down on her bench and she's just smiling and she's talking to the cats outside her screen porch and she's eating, and I'm just immediately her daughter-in-law texts me, but I didn't get it because, you know, I was like dealing with her. I was in absolute shock and I'm just sitting here like, this woman is literally batshit crazy. Like, it's not even funny. It's not funny. So then I grabbed my phone and I was about to text my mom and I was about to say, you're not gonna believe what just happened. You guys know I got a big mouth when people piss me off. You all know what I'm talking about. So as I grab my phone to text my mom, I see that I get a text message from her. I opened the text message and she said, how's everything going? She goes, I know I just left, but I'm really, really concerned. Are you okay? What is she doing? Do I need to come back? And I text her and I said, Mom. Kidding. I said, no, actually everything's good. After she got done playing with the kittens, she walked right past me, made her lunch, started humming a song, went into the backyard, and she's eating her lunch now. So she texted me back, she said, thank God. She said, see, she calmed down now because I left. If I would have still been there, we would have been doing this all night long. She has come at me several times before with a hammer. She came at me with knives several times. She came at me with a broom, with a shovel. She said, this is nothing. I'm sorry, but I would hire somebody to take care of her. Well, obviously she did, but I wouldn't be nowhere around her. She hired us, obviously. But I wouldn't. I'd be done with it. I'd be like, you take care of her 24/7, 365, and I will send your ass the bill. I don't want to hear the shit. I don't want to be around the shit. If you guys can control her, then I give up. I ain't doing it. But she said she won't stop because of her husband. She made a promise to her husband. After she goes down with her lunch, she puts her plate on the little coffee table in front of her, and she lays down on the bench. On her back, takes off her glasses, puts her glasses down, crosses her legs in upright position, and she's going like this with her leg on her back with her arms folded. And she fell asleep. And then my shift was over. There is a God and he does love. I didn't even log into the logbook that day because you're supposed to log in and log out. Well, that day I did not log out because I wanted to get the hell out of there. I was like, the beast is sleeping. I'm not going to wake her up for shit. So I tiptoed over to the phone. I clocked out. I grabbed my stuff. I walked out the door. This was the one time out of 4 months that I just left. I didn't tell her I was leaving. I didn't tell her I love her because every time I told her I loved her when I left. And this is Sunday. Wait, no, this is Saturday. So Sunday I didn't work. So Monday was the next story time on her. Yeah, and I immediately called my boss and I told her what happened, and I said, I'm sorry, I did not do the logbook. I just wanted out of there. I didn't even let her know I was leaving. And she goes, I don't blame you. That's okay. That's totally fine. I will text her daughter-in-law and let her know. I said, okay. That was 1 week after working with this woman, and I started thinking a little bit. I started thinking, you know what? I don't think I can do this. I know the other girls quit. I think I should quit too. But I had a day of, rest and a day away from her Sunday. So then Monday I was like, you know what? I can handle this bitch. Let her come at me with a knife. I got this. That kind of that attitude. I ain't scared of no old lady. So yeah. But anyways.